Good Tuesday afternoon, Middle Georgia. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. What we're doing is we're going to start updating you more and more on Hurricane Idalia as it gets its act together. It's currently in the Gulf of Mexico, but before that we got showers and thunderstorms on the radar this afternoon and evening across much of Middle Georgia. So again, what we're looking at is it's 2:03 p.m. on Tuesday, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a little update on what's going to be a high impact system for not just the Gulf Coast, but for portions of South Georgia. So that's what we're going to be dealing with as we head through the next 24 hours. Just a busy weather day getting ahead. Especially as we head into our Wednesday. We're going with that weather warn day tomorrow because this will be a high impact. And again, it's not just for Middle Georgia, it's going to be for a large portion of the Deep South. So just keep that in mind as we head through the next couple of days, as it's going to be a big event. Now, looking at the radar this afternoon, most of this activity, this is just your typical summertime thunderstorm activity. Rain, storms, lots of lightning, gusty winds with some of these storms developing all across Middle Georgia. Not really associated with Hurricane Idalia, but again, heavy rainfall, northern portions of Crawford County get into Monroe County, northern portions of Bibb County stretching back into Upson County. And then you got stronger thunderstorms, Lawrence County down towards Wheeler and Montgomery counties. A lot of lightning and thunder with these storms as you head down towards Vandalia. And then again, that's on 16. But these are just regular thunderstorms, pretty typical of what we see across Middle Georgia during the summertime. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Now let's get into the meat and bones of what we're going to be talking about. And again, it's 2 p.m. We're going to be talking about this system now, of course, on Wgxa News at 5, 5:30, 6, and then again 11. And we'll probably do another Facebook Live this evening about 8:30 with the new update coming out from the National Hurricane Center. So if you have any questions, let us know. But go ahead. Make tomorrow, it's a weather warn day. We're going with all day tomorrow because we're going to be dealing with the impacts of Hurricane Idalia in Middle Georgia. A lot of Middle Georgia, South Georgia, and Southeast Georgia will be dealing with very windy conditions and heavy rainfall. We have a flood watch in effect as rainfall totals could be anywhere from ½ an inch to 6+ inches, just depending on where you are across Middle Georgia. And again, you can scan our QR code. I will show this again in a few minutes to download that Wgxa Skywatch weather app that has those great push notifications that will keep you informed and up to date on everything that's going on in Middle Georgia, not just during active weather, but during calm weather season. So again, latest update from the National Hurricane Center. It's Hurricane Idalia. Winds are up to 90 miles per hour, gusting to 105. It's moving to the north at 15. The pressure is steadily falling. When the pressure is falling, that means the storm is intensifying. And currently, it's a Category 1 storm. It is expected to continue to intensify over the next 12 to 18 hours rapidly. Very warm waters in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And by the time we talk tomorrow morning, it'll likely be a Category 3 storm. That's a major hurricane with winds up to 135 miles per hour, making landfall near the Big Bend. Now, the cone has gotten smaller and smaller, but don't focus on the cone. The impacts of this system will be felt well away from the cone. The cone is really just kind of where the center of circulation is going to be. This is going to be a larger storm, and then as it cuts across North Florida, it comes into South Georgia tomorrow evening at 65 mile per hour winds. It's still a tropical storm as you head down towards the Savannah and Brunswick area. Good news is for Macon and much of Middle Georgia, we're on the left side of this storm. That's the better side to be on with these storms, but we're still going to be dealing with wind. We're still going to be dealing with rain across all of Middle Georgia tomorrow as the storm continues to intensify and increase in intensity as well as coverage. So that's the latest hurricane track as of 2 p.m. from the National Hurricane Center. The center staying closer to the coast. But again, don't focus on the cone. This is just where the center could go. The impacts will be felt greater outside the cone area. So keep that in mind. So what we're doing with is I'll show you one of our forecast models. Storm will be getting its act together. It's winding up. We don't like that because that means it's intensifying. It's going to be lifting north as we head through the evening and overnight hours, and then taking it inland during the Big Bend, somewhere in the Big Bend of Florida, south and east of Tallahassee. Now, Interstate 75, Interstate 10, this is where Lake City is. When you're dropping down into the peninsula of Florida, Interstate 10 takes you back across the Panhandle. Heavy rainfall expected ongoing tomorrow morning across much of South Georgia, Southeast Georgia, maybe as far north as Macon, as well as Warner Robins. Do keep that in mind, but throughout the day, this rain will continue to spread inland as the system works its way inland. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but again, along and east to the right of that center of circulation, that's where the worst weather will be. That's where we're going to be talking about the threat for those tornadoes, very gusty winds, and that incredible rainfall. But still, we're going to be getting heavy rainfall across South Georgia as we head through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m., Dublin over towards Macon, expect gusty winds. The center of circulation looks like it'll be near Alma, and then that'll be working its way up towards Interstate 16. Anywhere within this is where those damaging winds will be. And this is still going to be a tropical storm as it's working through southeast Georgia. And that'll be doing a lot of tree and power issues. Go ahead and plan, especially from Macon off towards the south and east and down towards the south. You're likely going to be having power issues throughout the day tomorrow as this high impact system impacts much of south and central Georgia. So do keep that in mind. But notice by tomorrow night, it's out of here. This is going to be a quick hitting system. That's certainly some good news, but it will be a very potent system as it works its way through. So latest updates, your eyes do not deceive you. We have tropical storm watches in effect for Johnson County, Lawrence County, Bleckley County, Pulaski County, as well as, excuse me, Dooley County. Then you got tropical storm warnings in effect for Crisp County. You get down towards Wilcox County, Dodge County, Telfair County, Wheeler County, and Montgomery County. And again, tropical storm warnings, that's going to be for that wind threat. Winds in excess of 40 miles per hour, and that's sustained. There will be higher gusts. So we're dealing with these watches and warnings, tropical storm watches and warnings across our southern counties and southeastern counties as we head through the next 24 hours. And these watches will be upgraded to warnings later today. So do keep that in mind. We are expecting those to increase. As we look at potential winds, not bad today. It's just a normal day across middle Georgia. Now, as we head into the day tomorrow, this is when we're really going to start to see those winds pick up across middle Georgia. Throughout the day, conditions will deteriorate as we head throughout the day because the storm will be making its way inland. Let me try that again for you. But it'll be making its way inland. And as it does, winds will be increasing. Notice by 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow evening, widespread gusty winds, anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour. These are tropical storm force down towards Cordele and Abbeville. And again, it's the gusts that are going to get you. They're quick hitting gusts, and that's what we're going to be watching as we head through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, very gusty winds all the way up towards Monticello. The gustier wind's going to be down across our southern counties and southeastern counties. And again, anything over 40 miles per hour, that's going to be a tropical storm gust. And that's where we're dealing with those watches and warnings. You actually see the center of circulation down towards Savannah. That's the eye. That's essentially what that is. And you see all this wind being spun into this system. And again, tomorrow night, Dublin over towards Wrightsville. Very sustained gusty winds. And again, hurricanes are very large systems. It takes them a long time to move through, and it's persistent. So it's going to be persistently gusty wind throughout the day tomorrow, and a lot of times that will cause tree and power issues. And then even tomorrow night as the system pulls away, we're still going to be having gusty winds. Throughout the day on Thursday, not quite as gusty, but it will remain a breezy day. Now, back here in middle Georgia, let's talk about this is this afternoon, not related to the tropical storm. It's just a hot and humid day. We're dealing with these widespread showers and storms. Tomorrow morning, we look to start off dry across middle Georgia, but it's going to be a cloudy and breezy day. And throughout the day, rain will be increasing across from south to north as the system moves inland. And these will be those heavy rain bands we always talk about. we're really not too concerned with the tornado threat in Middle Georgia because we are west to the left of that center of circulation. You get to the west or the left of that center of circulation, you don't get those tornadoes. That's certainly some good news, but we're going to be dealing with gusty winds and heavy rainfall, so do keep that in mind as we go back to what we're dealing with, a persistent heavy rainfall, especially east and south of Macon as we head through the day tomorrow. But then again, it's quickly in and out of here. Now, rainfall totals, this is going to be a problem for many of us. Now, portions of Middle Georgia, I would say maybe some of our northern counties, you don't get much in the way of rainfall from this system, but notice how heavy and how intense that rainfall is going to be off towards our south and east. Rainfall totals actually increasing. We're going to have to update this graphic, but easily 3 to 5 to 7 inches from Lawrence County over towards Treutlen County. This is where we're going to be dealing with that greatest chance for those flooding concerns. And again, it's tropical downpours. It's going to come down persistent and for a very long time. And that's where we're going to be dealing with widespread rainfall totals anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7 inches. It all depends on where that center of circulation will be working its way through. And I will note that over the last few minutes, this has updated, and it looks like some of the heavier rainfall going to be closer to Middle Georgia. Now, here it is. We got a flood watch in effect through tomorrow night. We are expecting quite a bit of rainfall. I was just showing you the graphic. And that's what we're going to be dealing with, that threat for flash flooding and solid flooding. River flooding will be included in this, and this is going to go through Wednesday night until the storm system has pulled away. So I've shown you the wind. I've shown you the threat for rainfall. Now let's talk about that threat for tornadoes. Again, we're west or to the left of that center of circulation. We're not very much concerned with the tornado threat with this system because you have to be east or on the right side of the center of circulation, and we could see an isolated tornado in our extreme southeastern counties. But then again, it's still going to be windy. You don't have to have those tornadoes to cause damage within a hurricane. Just know that it's going to be a very windy day, but the greatest chance for those tornadoes will be off towards our south and east, closer to Savannah, Brunswick, and Jacksonville, and then over towards Charleston, where this storm system will be impacting much of the area. So, again, impacts. It makes landfall tomorrow along the Florida coast. It will then work inland, and throughout the day, we'll see increasing winds, increasing rain all day long across Middle Georgia. Sustained winds, 10 to 20 miles per hour. They'll increase, could gust as high as 30 or 50 at times, and that'll cause tree and power issues. That's why we're expecting this to be a high impact event. And then rainfall totals, again, across Middle Georgia will vary from ½ an inch to 6 inches plus in some locations. And as we've been talking about, since we're on the better side of the system, the very low end threat for tornado. We will keep an eye on it. Things are going to be changing constantly, but just give you an idea, with Hurricane Idalia, storm threat impacts, flooding pretty high. Wind's going to be an issue, the tornado threat very low, but then you get into the threat for power outages. That'll be sky high, especially the closer you go down towards where that center of circulation is. We are expecting that widespread power issues to be a problem across North Florida, South Georgia, as well as Southeast Georgia, and maybe extending as far north as Middle Georgia. Again, high impact event. A lot of people are going to be impacted by this storm as we head through the next couple of days. So again, just reiterating, we're doing a weather warn day for tomorrow because of the impacts from Hurricane Idalia. It's going to be a very windy and wet day for not just Middle Georgia, but South and Southeast Georgia. We could see wind and rain as far north as the Atlanta metro. We do have that flood watch in effect through tomorrow evening, and rainfall totals easily ½ an inch to over 6 inches. That's why we have that flood watch in effect, and that's why we think we're going to have serious flooding issues in certain locations. Again, I told you I'd put up the app again. You can scan that QR code right now. You can download the Wgxa weather app. What I love about it has those push notifications. You can alert yourself for your exact location, only the watches and warnings you want to receive, and that's where you'll get them. But again, I'll go back. I'll get on social media real quick. That's what we're doing, and I'll answer any questions that anyone may have. So we're going to live and will be streamed. We head tonight after this evening news when we get a new update from the Hurricane Center. That's what we're going to be doing later this afternoon. So if you have questions tonight, that would be a great time to ask them. You can hit us up on social media, and again, anywhere on our emails, you can do that as well. Tomorrow is just going to be a busy day. We'll come in, we'll start streaming early in the day, and we'll have severe weather coverage all day tomorrow as the threat from Hurricane Idalia works its way inland across South Georgia. But again, major hurricane will be making landfall along the northern Florida coast. It will then work its way inland, crossing Interstate 10, likely going to be a hurricane near Valdosta as it's weakening. Once they move inland, they begin to weaken because they feed off the ocean waters. You're over land, you're not getting those ocean waters anymore. So again, just going back and checking any comments, questions, please let us know. We will be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Going to be an active day tomorrow, and again, the forecast will be changing constantly, so do keep that in mind as we head through the next 24 hours. Our next update will come out at 5 p.m., so make sure you're watching Wgxa at 5. We will have the latest information then. Next up, the updates are coming out every 3 hours, so that's how you time it: 5, 8, 11, and then again at 1 a.m. Again, tomorrow will just be a busy day. Once the storm system moves inland, that's what we're going to be watching as we head through the day tomorrow. But again, just one of those systems. You always have to worry about hurricanes, and that's what we're dealing with as we head through the day today. Watching, seeing how quickly it intensifies. It is intensifying. Again, winds are up to 90 miles per hour. That's sustained. That's the maximum or winds, and then you get those gusts that are at 105. Category 1 hurricane right now, expected to make it to Category 3. Category 2 winds start at 96 miles per hour, and then once you get it to above 110 to 115, that's when the transition to a Category 3 occurs. You see, by tomorrow morning, it is expected to be a Category 3 north of Tampa Bay, south and east of Tallahassee, again near the Big Bend of Florida. This is where those rainfall and storm surge totals will likely be over 15 feet. They're calling for catastrophic damage, storm surge in this area of the Big Bend of Florida. So do keep that in mind. We're in Middle Georgia. A lot of people are going to be evacuating up 75, also up 95 to 16. So we will have evacuees here in Middle Georgia as this storm system makes its way inland. So make sure you're very aware of that. And again, we're just going to be watching things throughout the day. I'll zoom out and show you some of the additional watches and warnings down towards the south. Again, from our southwestern counties, this darker shade of red, those are tropical storm warnings. The brighter shade of dark red, that's a hurricane warning, and that's what we're seeing as far north as Valdosta and really almost to Alma. That's where that center of circulation is expected to pass, and everything up towards the Macon area, these are tropical storm watches that will become tropical storm warnings as we are forecasting those winds to be in excess of tropical storm force as they make their way inland. Again, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Wind and rain as we head throughout tomorrow. Tornado threat's going to be confined to the coast. We'll keep an update. We'll keep an eye out. Things can change, and it all depends on that center of circulation. Where does it move onshore? If it wobbles back to the west some, we're going to have higher impacts here in Middle Georgia. If it wobbles to the east some, we'll have less impacts in Middle Georgia. But do go ahead and make plans that tomorrow is going to be that weather-worn day for all of Middle Georgia. The Macon forecast tomorrow, heavy rainfall, gusty winds. It will be a cooler day. Tomorrow's only going to be in the upper 70s, but we're going to be dealing with those increasing winds throughout the day. So do keep that in mind as we head throughout the rest of the forecast period. And again, flooding and wind are the main concerns, a very low end threat for tornadoes and power outages. That's what we're expecting, major issues from the power grid as we head through the next 48 hours. So do keep that in mind. Again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. We'll be here throughout the afternoon throughout the day tomorrow. It's just going to be one of those days, and we'll keep you informed and up to date. Again, we'll have the news at 5, 5:30, and 6 on Wgxa. And of course, we will be talking about our next Facebook Live about 8 o'clock this evening, so do keep that in mind as we'll be tracking the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. And then throughout the day tomorrow, we'll be here doing team coverage. Our own meteorologist, Ryan Mirando, is actually on his way to Savannah. He's going to be down there doing some live shots for us. And of course, we'll have team coverage as the system makes its way on shore. So again, that's our weather warn day for tomorrow, because we're going to be dealing with the impacts of Idalia. If you need to scan that QR code one more time, you can do that and get our Wgxa Skywatch weather app for free. And again, it will keep you informed and up to date. Has that interactive radar that will allow you to see where the storms are, where the wind and where the rain is, and we'll give you the latest updates on any far as hurricane. Update will be out at 5 p.m. We'll be live in the newscast then. We'll do another